I think it's time for us to address what many people think of as the elephant in the room when it comes to a writing career. This is the one thing that when I'm working with a client for a while, whenever they're down in the dumps and they're hit by writer's block and they're feeling bad about themselves, they've changed their mind for the third time when it comes to their storyline, this is the thing that they always bring up. It is the excuse that so many writers use for not going through with their dreams and for getting stuck and for giving up. And that excuse is the low odds of success that are inherent in a writing career. Here on the How to Be an Author podcast, I always like to be real with you. As a writing coach, I have had the ups and the downs. I've known the highs and the lows of a writing journey, and I always want to be super clear and super honest with my writers. And this is something where a lot of people don't like to talk about the supposed low odds of success as writers. There are these odds that seem insurmountable. There are the gatekeepers that keep everyone out of the magical room in which the successful writers get to hang out, all happy with champagne and book signings. People love to talk about the challenges, the rejections, the statistical improbability of making it as a writer. And while these discussions can be really disheartening for aspiring authors, there's a flip side to this coin. Listen, this persistent murmur, right? This rumor of the low success rates in the writing world, it really does serve as a testament to the resilience and the determination that so many authors really do determine in the face of supposedly insurmountable odds. Because here's the thing. Some authors do thrive. Some authors do make it. Some authors do succeed. And the fact that they do shows you that it is possible, right? This whole idea of these insurmountable odds, well, they're not insurmountable because some people are there as proof that it is possible to succeed as a writer. Now, as a writing coach, I'm often helping my authors to see that their odds of success, yes, there are some elements of luck, and we're going to be talking about how to get luck on your side, but there are also some things that you can firmly control. When you think about the odds of success for the average writer, yeah, that's the average writer. You don't need to be the average writer. You can be a superlative writer, and not just because you were more talented than somebody else. There's so many other elements that are firmly within your control, and we're going to be talking about that in this episode of the How to Be an Author podcast. You're going to come out of it feeling, I think, a lot better. And here's the other piece of awesome news. In our writing, this idea of the insurmountable odds, this is the thing that adds a layer of depth and urgency to the narratives that we're writing. We understand that we need to craft main characters who have strengths and weaknesses and fundamentally low odds of success to, getting to their goal. Their struggles kind of mirror our own in this. And it is really important to give your character these super low odds of success so that they can grow, they can change, they can, have the pressure, they can have high stakes, they can go against the odds. And this is kind of the human story that readers love to read. And so I love the fact that this struggle is such an echo to our struggle as a writer. So today, let's talk about the odds of success, how they both challenge us and elevate us in our creative pursuits, and how they make our characters truly extraordinary. If you're a writer dreaming of becoming a successful author, join me, writing coach Corinna Akavane, on the How to Be an Author podcast, your weekly source for writing information, inspiration, and motivation. Hello, my writer friends. Welcome back to the How to Be an Author podcast. I'm writing coach Corinna Akavane. It is my passion in life to craft awesome stories, to have fun writing them, and also to help writers like you go from aspiring to successful. Yes, successful. I have a really high track record from bumping my writers up to the next level of success, whatever that means to you. And that is something that I really pride myself on, that I like to listen to you as a writer. I like to hear what you're saying. What does success mean to you? And how can we get you at least one step closer to that? I pretty much guarantee that if you're doing any of my courses, one-on-one coaching, or even my workbook, I can guarantee that you will find yourself one or several levels more successful than you were before. And oftentimes, just bumping up a couple levels in that success is what helps to increase the odds of success, what makes you more lucky. And so that's something that's kind of my promise to you as a writing coach. But one of the things that really helps with success is writing better characters and creating tension in your book. So that's what we're going to be talking about first, and then we're going to go through all the other ways of getting luck on your side so that you can be the most successful author possible. And when it comes to the nitty gritty of all of this stuff, go check out my website. There's so many resources on, what you need to do and think and plan in order to be a more successful writer. But let's start talking about creating tension in a book. This involves building suspense, keeping the readers engaged with the narrative, and to make your character's odds of success just low enough to make it suspenseful, whether they're actually going to be able to get to their goal. Here are a few techniques that you might want to think about. So, unexpected twists and turns. That's one of the things that can keep readers on the edge of their seats. And unexpected twists and turns happen when you're introducing elements of uncertainty. Uncertainty is one of those things that kind of drives us crazy as humans. We sometimes like to think that we want everything to be planned out and perfect, but that's the thing. You never know. There are always accidents along the way. So this is something that your reader really understands. And this is something that's, absolutely infuriating when you think everything's going well, you've planned everything, you should be succeeding 100%, and then boom, plot twist. That is a really great way of creating tension. And I think that the more of these plot twists you write, or these elements of uncertainty you write, and the more you write about your character surmounting these odds, I think the more you start to see that it's possible for yourself to do that as well as a writer. Another way of creating tension in your book, of making the odds of success even more difficult, is time pressure, setting deadlines for your characters, a ticking clock, if you will. As your characters are racing against time, this heightens the stakes, the urgency, the pressure, the tension, and it's an obstacle in and of itself. And this also is something that you come across in your writing career, right? When you're on a deadline, you've said, it's NaNoWriMo, you're going to finish your 50,000 words in a month. Or maybe, an agent has asked to see the whole book and you lied to them and said it was finished, but it wasn't. And now you need to write. Or maybe you put your book on pre-order and it's, not done yet. And Amazon's going to totally dock you if you don't have the final version of your manuscript up by a certain time. This time pressure is really crazy making, but when you're able to overcome that time pressure and actually get things done just under the wire, that's a pretty exciting feeling. So your characters do this too. The significant challenges and obstacles are another thing that your characters have, and these can be internal or external. And one of the conflicts that I'm thinking that a writer often comes across, the obstacle is, the so-called gatekeepers, the agents, the publishers, these people keeping you out from, that pantheon of the famous writers. But this is really interesting where your main character also has these obstacles. Maybe there's a literal gatekeeper. Maybe there's the bridge troll. Maybe there's the army that's waiting at the gates and they can't get past them. All of this is super, super useful in creating a major challenge, major external conflict that has to be overcome. This adds complexity to the story, and it really shows your reader the determination that your character has to overcome in the face of these massive challenges. Character relationships are another thing that can create a big challenge, that can make it harder for your character to get what they want. Because oftentimes when you've got a relationship with somebody, you've got conflicting goals. Maybe you've got a hidden agenda, a strained relationship. This can contribute to a lot of tension and make it harder for your character to get what they want. And the same thing happens with you, right? When you've got, let's say you've got an editor who's not really, on the same page as you, pun intended, or you've got a beta reader who's, got a hidden agenda when it comes to giving you feedback, things like that. That sort of thing, interpersonal things can really add a lot of strain, a lot of tension, and make it feel like you're further from your goal. When you're writing about tension also with your character, there's such a thing as a moral dilemma, right? If you're forcing characters to make difficult choices that challenge their moral compass, this really adds a lot of emotional tension. It engages readers on a deeper level. And this is something that happens too with writers where they're forced to make difficult choices, right? Go out with your friends or finish your book, sell out or, choose the cover that you wanted, things like that, different choices like, do I write this sort of book or that sort of book? Do I go in this direction because it seems more successful or that one? All of these things can really change the outcome in your life. And for your characters, these moral dilemmas make things really, really interesting. And you'll see how, basically everyone has choices to make in life. And so when your book character has that, it makes them all the more real. But again, writing about these moral dilemmas also, I think, helps you to just, see how objectively you can look at this, the moral dilemmas that you have in your life and just see them as part of your growth because we all go through it. If you're looking at your book and you're thinking to yourself, maybe the odds of success for my character are a little bit too high. That's a thing where if you have your beta readers get back to you and they're like, I wasn't really in it because it just seemed like your character's so strong. They've got, everything on their side. And, there was no suspense because I really pretty much knew that they'd get to do whatever they wanted to do. How can you lower the odds of success to make the story more suspenseful, to add a little bit more tension, and to just make it all over more interesting? Well, first of all, make your antagonist better developed and stronger, more powerful. The more formidable the opposition, the lower the main character's odds of success appear. And therefore, when they succeed, the better it is for them, right? So tell yourself that too. When you're a writer and it seems like the odds of success are super low, everybody loves an underdog. This makes your story so engaging for your reader when they find out your story, like what your odds of success were and how they were so low and how you managed to overcome. That's going to make you, as a writer, a much more engaging character that readers want to follow. That's part of your author platform. Another thing you can do to lower the odds of success for your characters is increase the risks, right? These are the stakes. The higher the stakes, the better. So the consequences of failure should become more severe. So this makes success seem really elusive, right? Instead of, if your character fails and it's no big deal, that's no fun, right? It needs to matter. So many writers that I know, they talk themselves out of success and they talk themselves out. They're like, oh, I'm going to harden myself against failure. I'm going to tell myself that it doesn't matter if I fail. And I always tell them as a writing coach, I go, no, that's not what you should do. Like the stakes still should be really high. If you lie to yourself and you tell yourself it doesn't matter, why would you even keep pushing through, right? If it doesn't matter if you fail, like it just doesn't seem like it's worth it to even make the effort to go win and do the thing because there's a lot of sacrifice along the way. And this is another important point in your writing. The main character really needs to make some personal sacrifices for their goals. The greater the sacrifice, the more readers are going to feel the weight of the odds that are against them, the more interesting it makes it. So this goes for you as well as a writer. Like you've got to sacrifice a little something to succeed. You can't just be who you are and not change, have a happy, easy life and succeed. If anybody tells you that that's their story, well, I find that less compelling, right? Another way of making your characters' odds of success really low are limiting their resources. And you can constrain their main characters' resources, whether it's time, money, or support. A lack of resources can make success seem unattainable. Now, the same thing is true for you as a writer. If you are on your last penny and you're like, I need to write this book to make money, there is a little bit of desperation in that. That might actually help you in a way, but also it makes you make mistakes. It makes you maybe write faster or less carefully than you would do it because you think that you need to hurry up, right? You're running out of time. You're running out of money. And this actually hurts you a lot. Like the writers who lie to themselves and tell themselves that they have no resources to pay, for example, for, professional cover or whatever, those limited resources really do make your success much more difficult. And that's why sometimes when I'm talking about putting luck on your side as an author, I'm saying try to increase the resources on your side. Now, if you were a character in a story, this would make it less interesting. But being resourceful means that you're going to be able to find the resources that were initially lacking. That is proof of a strong main character and proof of a strong writer, right? And remember, you're allowed to experience setbacks and failures. So is your character. This adds realism. It makes the ultimate success more uncertain and more satisfying at the end. Those internal struggles and doubt, the conflict that you have within yourself, doubts about your abilities, this makes both your characters and you vulnerable and therefore more compelling. So think about all of these internal and external forces that are beyond your control that work against your character or against you. All of these things really make things so much more interesting. So remember, the odds of success of your character need to be low enough to create tension, but it's equally crucial to provide a path for your character to strive forward. Like they need to have at least some tiny glimmer of hope. Because if they don't, your reader's not going to be engaged and invested. They're going to give up, right? And this is what's so important. This is why I tell my writers, you've got to at least believe that there's some snowball's chance in hell of you succeeding. Because if you don't believe that there's any chance of you succeeding, your brain is not going to allow you to actually do any of the things that are going to help you to succeed. Because your brain it is geared towards helping you to survive, right? It's survival based. And as part of that, it doesn't let you do things that are going to automatically result in failure. So if you're telling yourself that there's zero chance of success, your brain will literally do everything in its power to prevent you from wasting resources, energy, time, etc. on something that's never going to happen. Do you see how evolutionarily it's crucial for you to at least believe that there's some way in which you can succeed? And let me tell you, the odds of success for a writer can vary so widely. And honestly, yes, some things are outside of your control. But as I said in the introduction, the odds of success can be definitely pushed into your favor a little bit. There's so many factors. So let's talk about some of these factors and what you can do to actually get luck on your side. Because yes, okay, what are the parts of luck? So many people say, oh, this writer succeeded because they were lucky. Really? Yeah, they were discovered by this agent. It was just super lucky. Really? They got discovered by the agent? How? How did they get discovered by the agent? How did they just get noticed? It's because they put themselves out there. They were either at the writing conference or they were at the dinner party and they happened to be talking about their book to an agent, or maybe they queried. That's how they got discovered. It wasn't just luck. They were in the right place at the right time with the right person, maybe, but they put themselves there. Do you see how you need to put yourself out there? You don't get discovered if you're in your bed. Okay. Or if you're not querying. So sometimes being at the right place at the right time feels like luck, but it's not really luck, right? So stop lying to yourself. Then there's the whole idea, the lucky idea of viral success. Oh my God. In the age of social media, a single post, a single video, a single endorsement can lead to viral success. Okay. That's great. Yeah. A viral thing that can be partially down to luck. It can partially be the algorithm. It can partially be, again, right place, right time. But at the same time, nobody has a viral post when they didn't post anything. It's like the lottery. If you don't play, you don't win, right? There's only one person who's going to win the lottery at any given point in general, but there's only one person that's going to have that viral post like that. But if you're not posting or you're not playing or you're not writing, viral success is completely impossible. However, if you're doing it, there is some chance of viral success. If you keep coming at it in different ways, you keep trying, those odds of viral success go up exponentially, right? So as a writer talker or as a book talker, I have created 3 accounts that have gone above 10,000 followers on TikTok. And in fact, I've got above 80 something thousand followers on one and over 65,000 followers on the other. And this is something that I'm able to replicate. I'm not that cool, right? But I'm able to get consistently viral videos or posts because I know what it takes. And this is something that I have in my courses. I teach you literally how to replicate this. I have multiple clients that I have taken from 0 to 100,000 plus followers on any social media platform. And this is something that I can replicate time and time again. That viral success isn't so much lucky as it is hard work. So remember that. That's so important. Then the other thing that writers will say, they're like, oh, market trends, oh, you're so lucky if your work aligns with a current trend or if it addresses a timely issue, it might attract more attention. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's not luck. That's somebody who actually did their homework and that they actually looked at what was trending and that they wrote fast enough and they wrote the right kind of work that that's what people wanted to read. That is writing to market. And that is also something that I teach you to do in my courses. It's not something that's just random. So some people have more or less success with that. Some people are going to write a book that's better or worse received, but it's not just pure luck at all. Now, some people even make the market, and that seems like it's lucky, but it's not. It's writing the right kind of book that people want to read. And this really just stems from knowing who your reader is, knowing who your audience is, knowing what kind of a writer you are, and then writing to your ideal reader and doing it right. So that's not just luck. And then finally, there's media exposure. People are like, oh my God, being featured in media outlets, it can boost a writer's career. How is that luck? It's not. Again, you're not going to be featured if you're not doing anything. I've been featured in multiple media outlets. Sometimes it's because I literally sent a press release, or sometimes it's because I had a post that went viral and I've had some news outlets cover it. It's never luck. Right? Yes, maybe it's luck if you had, an article that happened to go viral on top of your video that went viral. That's fine. And then maybe like the right person looked at that who's an influencer and it went exponential. Yes, that's kind of lucky. But again, it'll never happen if you didn't put yourself out there. I really think sometimes that there's no such thing as luck because luck is really where preparation meets opportunity. So important. Right? Being ready, being capable. These two things, when you put them together, that is the magic ingredients that increase the likelihood of success. So if you're continuously refining your skills and you're staying prepared, you are more likely to be able to capitalize on opportunities when they arise. If you're not doing that, you will not be able to capitalize on opportunities. In fact, you might not even see the opportunities. So this is just so important to really see things for what they are. The next thing, hard work creates luck, right? What sometimes seems like luck, overnight success, it stems from years of foundation work, dedication, perseverance. Writers who consistently put in the effort, they're so much more likely to find themselves in favorable situation. Control over your efforts and your choices. This is massive. External factors can influence outcomes, but focusing on what you can control minimizes the role of luck. You have the choice of focusing on certain things that will move the needle. This is what I was saying at the beginning of this podcast. When you take any of my courses or you work on my workbook, it actually really helps you to hone your efforts into doing the things that will most impact the quality of your work and most impact your author platform. That is literally like a luck-making machine. And that's so important to know. And also, success in writing, it's subjective. It's multifaceted, right? What one person might consider lucky or might consider successful, it's not the same for somebody else, right? many times you can kind of basically uh, reverse engineer your success. And, one level of success is often the result of deliberate actions and choices. It's not mere chance. Now, when I'm talking about being a best-selling author, that might have another part of luck, or it might have, that's not something that everyone can do. But definitely you can massively, massively improve your chances of success. So let's talk about how you can do that. Number one, high skill level. Writers who continuously hone their craft. If you're working on your writing skills, that increases your odds of success. If you are really working on your storytelling, I think that's so important. And storytelling is different from writing, by the way. Storytelling is the alchemy that happens when you have a story that you are telling your reader. And this means that you have to be willing to learn to write to an ideal audience. You have to be committed to telling the story in a way that's going to be well received. And that means being open to feedback, constant improvement. That's really important. Now, the next factor that really helps to be successful is that persistence and perseverance, right? You need to be resilient. The writing industry, yes, it's competitive. Yes, rejection is common, right? But some people succeed. It's the writers who make the consistent effort, who are disciplined, who work hard, who are committed to the long-term process. Those are the ones who are going to have more success on average. That is just science. And we talked about this whole market trends and timing thing. Yeah, understanding the market, identifying the trends, adapting to changing reader preferences. This can definitely impact a writer's success. If you're writing content that doesn't resonate with the current audience, your odds of success are going to be lower. Come on, you know that. You know that, right? And timing plays a role. If you saw a writing trend and you're like, I'm going to capitalize on this, but then you let the time pass you by, well, then your success is going to be lessened, right? And then finally, also, you've got the networking and connections, right? Building relationships with people in the industry, editors, agents, publishers, fellow writers. This can open doors. It really can, right? If there are opportunities for publication, collaboration, mentorship, it makes you more visible, right? Writers who establish an online presence and who have, through these relationships or through social media, through blogs, people who are increasing their visibility all the time, they're connecting with more people, more industry professionals, more potential readers, and this increases your odds of success, again, exponentially. You cannot succeed without an author platform, which includes website, mailing list, engagement with readers. And I tell you how to do this A to Z. It's not like you have to make this up. I literally have the full playbook on how to do this in my courses. From idea to publish in 6 months. In 6 months, you will have a book that will just exponentially improve your odds of success. And also you will have a platform that will help you to reach your readers and market your book. This is so crucial. And so many authors are like, "Wah, I don't know why I'm not going to be successful." I know why you're not going to be successful, because you're leaving out a huge part of the equation. Another reason why some authors don't succeed is that they don't define their genre and their niche. They are too loosey-goosey. They don't know who their target audience is. If you are loosey-goosey and you don't know who you're telling your story to, again, you're not going to succeed, right? That really, it doesn't help to just ignore what people want. They want something well told, well written, engaging, something they can dive into. This is what attracts readers. This is what gains critical acclaim. And again, it's not rocket science. It's not the biggest poet who's going to get this. It's the best storyteller. And storytelling is a skill that you can learn. This is what I teach. Finally, business savvy, understanding the industry. And again, you don't need to be doing research on your own. If you are enlisted in the whole, writing coach thing, if you're listening to these podcasts, you are going to have your finger on the pulse of what the publishing industry is, what people in this industry expect, and you're going to understand better how to navigate your career, because this is a career. If you want to be a professional author, who is successful, it is a career and you've got long-term plans that you need to look at. So that's really important to remember. And also you need to be adaptable, right? And this is the truth in any career, right? If you are working in any realm, your career is going to change so much over time. Why? Because of different technologies that happen, right? Different avenues of, advertising things, different expectations from your customer base. All of these things force anyone who's in any kind of business to be adaptable, and writers as much as anybody else, right? If you look at the rise of self-publishing and digital platforms that we've seen in the past few years, if you haven't jumped on this bandwagon, your success is going to be impacted, right? So that's really important to realize, is that you've got to believe in the possibility of success, because if you are motivated, persistent, resilient, positive, confident, you set and achieve goals, you build a platform, and you keep attracting opportunities while adapting to challenges and still enjoying yourself, all of this in a long-term plan, you're going to be the luckiest writer there is. You are going to be the proof that it is possible to succeed. So please, I don't want to hear you saying that it's so unlikely that you're going to succeed as a writer, because I hope that this episode has shown you that the odds of success are very much partially in your hands, and that the more you believe in your own success, the more successful you will be in the long run. And if I can be your partner in your success, I would be delighted. My workbooks and my courses and my one-on-one coaching are tools that are going to take you closer to success than you ever imagined, and that might even expand your vision of what success is. And it's very exciting. And I can't wait to be there with you as you do that. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the How to Be an Author podcast. I think it was a crucial one. You might want to listen twice. And I look forward to being with you next week as we hit on some more super important things that are going to help you in your writing success. If you have any pressing writing-related questions or would like to be featured on the How to Be an Author podcast, please feel free to reach out on my website, creativeandwritingcoach.com.